Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Coming live from the IPC TV in Sydney, Australia. And like I said, every day of the week, I am going to be talking to some inspirational people, stepping up and paying it forward with the Imperfectly Perfect Campaign collaborative project with the Pay It Forward Notes to My Younger Self, Volume 4. Today, we have got another incredible, inspirational co-author, Tiffany Brix, who I'm going to bring on in just a few short moments, guys. So before I do that, just to let you know, we are launching the book on the 30th of November. We want you to get excited. We want to get those pre-releases in. So keep on following the campaign, keep on following all the socials, as well as mine, as well as the Pay It Forward Notes to My Younger Self. I'll put all the links up where you can find the co-authors. And make sure you're following, guys. 30th of November, we have aims to impact over 1 billion lives. So to be a part of that collectively, we need your help. Without further ado, I am going to introduce Miss Tiffany Brix.
Hi.
Hey. How are you?
I'm doing very well. How about you?
I'm doing very well. What time is it over there where you are?
It's 6 p.m.
6 p.m. your evening, Saturday night. You should be out on the town.
Well, I have a party to go to after this, so Halloween party.
Good. Oh, very good, very good. So before we start, tell people a little bit about yourself.
Well, my name is Tiffany Brix, and I am a freelance writer and a wellness advocate. And I've been wanting to write my story for a while, and so I'm very excited for this opportunity. Wellness has been a part of my life for a very long time, and so it's just part of who I am, and so I can't not share it. And so I've just been looking for opportunities to share my story.
Well, you certainly stepped forward and paid it forward. Guys, I just want to remind you that I'm looking here, there, and everywhere because we're on IG Live, we're on LinkedIn Live, YouTube Live. These replays are going to go out. We're going to share the clips because it is Sunday morning here in Sydney. It is Saturday night over in the US. So make sure that you share these replays and you can catch up and you can find more about it. But back to yourself, Tiffany. What is if you can give us a little bit of insight into the title of your chapter, and don't give too much away, but the premise of your story.
So the title is Hanging On to Hope. And I went through a very hopeless time. I mean, it was very dark. I didn't think I was going to see my kids graduate college or high school, actually. And this was when my kids were very small. It was 10 years ago. And I got very sick with autoimmune issues. And I started autoimmune having issues when I was 12 years old. But going through this story, I thought I was going to tell about a miraculous healing moment that I had in my late 30s. But going through this process with Kezia, I realized that my story started way before that. It actually started when I was a baby, before I could even talk, before I even have memories. And so it is part of my story is getting upside down, and quite literally getting upside down. And I've gone through a lot of healing, and I've started even doing handstands across the world when there was a time when I was a baby when they didn't even think I would walk.
Wow.
Wow. So hanging on, I mean, it's getting upside down, turning everything upside down, turning wellness and what you think, turning your expectations upside down, and just never giving up, holding on to hope.
And it's a beautiful story. It's so inspirational. I've read it. As you know, there's a lot of celebrity testimonials because we sent them out very early and people have read it. I just can't wait for this book to come out on the 30th of November. Now, as somebody who has shared their vulnerability and shared that story, was that a big process for you thinking about it? For anybody that ever thinks about writing their own story? I mean, you said first and foremost that you've been looking for an opportunity to share that story, but when you did it and you found out through the process, it started much earlier on. Was it a cathartic process for you, or how did you find it?
I just went through, I took Kezia's lead and I just let her lead me through the process. I'm comfortable writing. But I guess just going through those memories, it just connected a lot of dots that I had never thought to connect before. And so here I am thinking that I started so much later in life and that my hopelessness was probably the core of it. But I think the longer I'm alive, I realize that time isn't quite linear. And I almost feel like me writing this, it was already written to me as a baby. Like I already knew these words that I was telling myself. I'd already heard them before. It was just, this is when it had to happen. But it's almost like it was already written inside of me.
Yeah, it's so powerful when it comes out. And what is your, I say this to all the ladies on there, but what's your hope when the book comes out?
I mean, it's always just that one person, but I just know how hopeless I felt. And there was a time when I could barely walk across a room. I was just so tired. The brain fog was just scary. And I had to fight against everyone in my life. I had to fight against my doctors of what their expectations were, of what they thought I could do. I would go into doctors and beg them to help me, and they just didn't have anything to give me. And so I had to take that on myself. I had to find hope in myself, and I had to dig deep and find a fire in myself and not give up and just start trying things. And I was in a position where I could understand my body enough to experiment on myself and take chances, take calculated risks with what I was trying. And it was a full-time job, me trying to get well and change my life and change the lifestyle. I had to plan my whole day around trying to get better, and it was exhausting. And so I understand why some people have such trouble doing that, because it can be a full-time job and it can be overwhelming.
So with everything you've been through, what advice, and we can only give it from our personal experience, and I always call it wisdom, whatever we've been through, our trials, tribulation, we can pass it on and pay it forward like we're doing. But what advice would you give to anyone out there that's struggling with these kind of feelings, that maybe have a similar experience to yourself?
Well, I think that the biggest thing is you have to take control, you have to take responsibility, and you have to realize that you can't ask permission from other people of what you can change in your own life. You have to take control, and you have to make decisions and expect miracles. I mean, I think that we listen to odds, we want the science, we want the proof of what's going to work. And sometimes you just have to believe that it's going to turn out. You just have to believe, even though all the numbers and all the science may say otherwise. You have to believe that you are already have miracles on your way, and maybe even that they've already happened to you, but you just haven't named them miracles. And so maybe you're looking at it wrong, and maybe you need to flip upside down and turn everything on its head and think that you've already received it. I know with manifestation, part of that is believing that it's already happened, but I think that maybe it's just we're looking at it wrong, and you just need to believe that it's already happened. And then they start to come, and that's what happened to me. This story, I realized that the miracles had already been starting since I was a baby.
Wow, for anyone listening, this is so powerful, and it's just really spurred me into a new direction now just with this conversation, because I find it so fascinating. When there's so much noise going on in the world, like you've got your career, you've got your family going on, you're dealing with this as well, what you've been going through. For a lot of people, and we know it's part of the journey and the collective when we're walking forward, we're all on our own journey. But for anybody sat there who might be listening and going, okay, when people talk about manifestation, they talk about believing in the miracles, they talk about the belief. How did you get yourself to that place when you're up against something that could easily send you in another trajectory of negativity? And you know what normally happens, if you go down one direction, you can actually make your illness worse or whatever you're contending with. So how did you manage to changing the narrative in your head to actually believe in yourself and believe that it already happened for you?
I think some of it is, it's going to be different for each person. It depends on your personality. But for me, I think it was everyone else gave up on me, and or it felt like they did. Maybe they didn't, but I'm sure there were people who still believed. But to me, it felt like I was alone and that I was the only one who could believe. And so I guess it just sparked a fire. And I was like, no, I'm not giving up. And I'm not taking this as the final answer. And I have to find better answers. These can't be my final answers. And I don't accept it. And so and then just little things like even, it was when social media was still kind of new-ish, and still growing. And I had things pop up in my feed that I then went down those rabbit holes, and I guess I was just open for them. And I guess to get a little sciencey, if you don't mind, but the reticular activating system, do you know what that is?
Yes, but do explain it just because of our audience, like if someone's listening and not.
So your reticular activating system is kind of like your filter, and your brain, you can't possibly know everything and absorb everything that's around you, but it's kind of like your filter. And so it's what you're looking for. And so it's like when you say, I'm looking for a red car, then you start seeing red cars. So when I was looking for answers, I was looking for ways to heal. Then they started popping up because I was looking for them. And so my filter brought them to my attention. So if I was scrolling through my feed, something would pop up and I would click on it. And, the algorithm then makes more things pop up. So I fed that. And so I got more.
Wow. Love this. So guys, remember, have that belief and start looking at alternatives. Because I think even with the IPC journey, like more people of faith has come to us and spoke about the same things. And then Dr. Joe Dispenza was telling me a lot more things, and it is. And I think if you can open your mind, I think a lot of times we start in this personal development realm, and then we remove ourselves from what we've been indoctrinated and we think we know, to looking outside of that, which comes from source and tapping in and everything that you just spoke about. But it's a question that I ask everybody that comes on the podcast, that comes on the show. With everything you've been through, Tiffany, what does it mean to you to be imperfectly perfect?
So some people, like whenever I first heard Imperfectly Perfect, I think initially I kind of thought, oh, okay, that means I'm perfect the way I am and I don't need to change. But I really think that it's a lot deeper than that. And I think that you can't not change. I think that it means you need to dig deeper and be imperfect while you're changing, and not take the status quo, and not wait, and not feel like you have to be perfect before you get messy, and just do bigger things.
Great answer. You know what? I've spoken to on the podcast about 150 odd people and always ask that question, and everyone's got such a different response. It's amazing. It really is. 30th of November, we are coming out. Are you ready? Are you excited for this story to get out there? We've been pushing it through networks, publications, everything. Are you ready for people contacting you, getting excited to find out more about yourself?
I am. I mean, that's why I did it. I just said, I'm not going to be small. I have to get my story out. And this is the way I'm doing it. And it's imperfectly perfect of how it happened. And the more that comes out and the more that I'm learning about the other women that are in this volume, I'm learning that it's really interesting how the stories overlap, how they fit together, different parts that are coming out. And I can't wait to see this launch and just see how it all comes out.
Well, we can't as well. And we thank you for being a co-author and part of Volume 4. Guys, where I shouldn't say guys first, I should be saying, Tiffany, where can people find out more information about you and follow you and keep up to date with you?
Well, I believe there's a link on the Imperfectly Perfect.
Yep, everything will be linked throughout the Imperfectly Perfect and the Pay It Forward, but you have a business website or Instagram?
I have an Instagram, and that'll be linked through all that. And then that's where I will feed all the other links and everything else.
These days, guys, it's just basically a link tree and you can find us everywhere. It's one of those. But it is your Saturday night. You are going out for a party. So look forward to it. I'm Sunday morning. We're in the future. It's looking bright. It's looking bright for the book. So I just want to say on behalf of IPC, Pay It Forward notes to my younger self, thank you for getting involved with this. It is going to be massive. We know as soon as you mentioned the talk about the miracles and the belief, we know that this is being led and how it all happened serendipitously, me meeting Kazia, you guys coming onto it, finding out about it, and the rest is going to be history. We're going to change some lives and impact 1 billion people. So, as I say, thank you very much for being a part of it, Tiffany.
And one more thing, as far as miracles, like I think a lot of people hear other people have miracles happen to them and they think, well, why hasn't this happened to me? Or even conversely, you have a miracle that happens to you and you don't understand and you say, why me? Why would I deserve this better than over someone else? And I think we really have to change that and think, why not me? And everyone needs to expect that. Why not me? Why not miracles every day? And so we just need to turn it around and really expect it, and everyone can.
What a way to end that. That's so important. Where can people find out more information about your writing? Because you do a lot of writing.
Through the Instagram. Yep.
Okay, cool. Okay, cool. So, well, there you go. There you have it.
I'm getting things set up for. I don't have a website yet or anything, so I'm starting there, and that's where everything's filtering through.
Well, guys, you know where you can find her. You can find her through the Imperfectly Perfect campaign and the Pay It Forward notes to my younger self. All the links will be there. If you need to reach out, and then get ready for the pre-release. The 30th of November, we are launching. But until next time, guys, keep having the hard conversations, because it is the hard conversations that truly do save lives. Until next time, keep safe and enjoy your weekends.